How does a tennis superstar turn 4 Grand Slam trophies into a fortune? Here's the twist. Most of the money doesn't come from the trophy checks. Hey, I'm Mark, and you're watching Kickin' Riches. Before we dive in, hit subscribe and tap like, because today we're pulling apart Naomi Osaka's money machine with clear numbers and real receipts. Here's a taste. In 2020, Osaka reportedly made $37 million from sponsors. And in the 12 months ending May 1, 2021, Forbes pegged her total at roughly $60 million, an all-time record for a woman athlete. That's not a flex, that's a statement. Our team combed through Forbes profiles, AP reports, and brand announcements to map her path step by step. So how does it happen? How do match wins become massive brand power, and how did her stance on mental health actually make her more valuable? Quick poll for you. What do you think pays more for a tennis star? Trophies or sponsors? Be honest. Stick around, because I'm going to show you the exact moments when the money curve bends up, the deals that did it, and why her voice off the court changed everything. Let's rewind to New York, 2018. That's where the switch flips. How much did Naomi actually earn from winning? Let's talk on-court cash first. Osaka's breakout was the 2018 US Open, where she beat Serena Williams on the biggest stage. That title alone came with a payday around $3.8 million. Then she followed up with the 2019 Australian Open, and later added the 2020 US Open and 2021 Australian Open. 4 slams by age 23 is wild. By April 2019, Forbes had her topping the WTA prize money list at about $3,259,334 for the season at that point. That shows you how fast her winning translated into checks. Add up the 4 major titles and you're looking at roughly $10 to $12 million in slam prize money alone over those years. That's serious money for any athlete. But here's the real story. Even those big winner checks are just the spark. Tennis prize money is hard-earned and volatile. One bad week and it's gone. Off the court? Totally different game. The biggest players turn match points into marketing power. So yes, the trophies opened the door, but what moved her from star to global brand? One huge switch changed her ceiling overnight. Next stop, the Nike pivot that turned her into a marketing force. What happened in 2019 that catapulted Osaka off the court? The apparel pivot. After winning the Australian Open, Naomi left Uniqlo and signed a multi-year deal with Nike in April 2019. That move gave her instant global reach, bigger campaigns, and reportedly hefty performance bonuses. She even rolled out her own signature Nike tennis shoes. Not every player gets that kind of spotlight. Nike didn't just put a logo on her shirt, they backed her as a person. When she paused competition in media in 2021, Nike publicly said, "We support her and recognize her courage in sharing her own mental health experience." That tells you everything about how they saw her value. Wins matter, but values matter too. This partnership became her anchor. When Nike buys in, other blue-chip brands pay attention. It was like a green light for luxury labels, tech giants, and financial heavyweights to join the roster. The ceiling moved up, and the conversation shifted from match results to long-term influence. So, if Nike was the first domino, who lined up next? Let's talk about the luxury houses, the headphones, the credit cards, and even a salad chain that all wanted Osaka's name on their story. Besides Nike, which heavy hitters flocked to Osaka? By 2020 and 2021, her sponsor list read like a Super Bowl ad break. She became a Louis Vuitton house ambassador, widely reported as a 7-figure multi-year deal, and joined the Tag Heuer family for watches. Mastercard signed her around 2019 as one of their tennis faces. Add in Airbnb, Beats by Dre, Panasonic, Yonex for rackets, and Sweetgreen. That last one's special. Sweetgreen made Naomi their first ever national athlete ambassador and brought her in as an investor. That's not just a check, that's a seat at the table. This spread shows her range: high fashion, tech, finance, travel, wellness, sport. It's rare for one athlete to feel at home in all those lanes, but Naomi did. Here's the kicker. In 2020 alone, the blue chip sponsor haul added up to about $37 million off the court. That's why analysts started calling her a marketing goldmine. The wins built trust. The brand fit turned trust into cash. So we've got the names. Now it's time for the math. How big did the total get when you stack these deals together? Let's count the cash and put the records in context. Ready for the tally? Osaka pulled in about $37 million from sponsorships in 2020. Then Forbes did the math on a 12-month window ending May 1, 2021, and landed around $60 million in total earnings, an all-time record for a female athlete. That's a new level. For perspective, the year before, Serena Williams was at roughly $29 million. Osaka cleared that mark with room to spare. The split tells the story. Only a few million came from prize money in a typical year. The real engine was off-court deals. And this wasn't a one-off spike. Even in 2024, Osaka still sat among the top-paid women in sports, ranking number 6 on Forbes' list. That's staying power. When you look at it this way, the Grand Slams weren't the finish line. They were the launch pad. Her talent created the spotlight. Her brand and decisions kept the lights on. But the money rise wasn't just about billboards and logos, it was also about her voice, what she stood for, and how she used her platform. Which brings us to the moment she became more than a player to millions of people. Off the court, Naomi became a symbol, and it changed her brand. At the 2020 US Open, she wore masks with names like Breonna Taylor to honor victims of racial violence. That image was everywhere. It wasn't just a statement, it was leadership. The Associated Press named her Female Athlete of the Year for 2020, not only for winning, but for speaking up. Here's why that mattered to business. Authenticity sells. Marketing veteran Alan Adamson put it simply, the best brand ambassadors are real people. He also noted that Naomi was talking about an issue relevant to many people. That candidness made her more relatable and more valuable. Brands realized they weren't just sponsoring a forehand, they were partnering with a person who moves culture. As Fast Company observed, she became a figure beyond tennis. That shift made sponsors lean in, not back away. So when she later stepped away to protect her mental health, the world watched for the fallout. Would the money dry up? Or would the new era of sports marketing show up for her? Let's roll to 2021 and see what happened when she changed the conversation again. So Naomi decided to skip mandatory press at the 2021 French Open and ultimately withdrew, citing huge waves of anxiety. Then she postponed Wimbledon too. A few years earlier, that might have cost an athlete deals, but this time, something different happened. Nike came out fast. We support her and recognize her courage in sharing her own mental health experience. Mastercard and other partners echoed that support. Sweetgreen didn't just talk. During that period, they donated 100% of proceeds from her signature bowl to AAPI causes and publicly said they'd give her space. That is a culture shift, well-being over PR panic. Experts said her honesty didn't reduce her value, it raised it. As Alan Adamson likes to point out, anyone can get a sponsorship for winning, but the best become ambassadors when they have a broader persona. Naomi showed people that mental health matters, and brands saw that as leadership. With the pressure reduced and the support behind her, she had room to shape her next chapter. And that next chapter wasn't just about wearing logos, it was about owning them. Let's talk about how she moved from endorsements to equity. Osaka isn't just cashing checks, she's building things. In 2021, she co-founded Kinlo, a skincare brand focused on melanin-rich skin. She also launched Evolve, a talent agency, and Hana Kuma, a production company. That's beauty, representation, and storytelling, all with her at the center as founder. On the investment side, she teamed up with Sweetgreen as both ambassador and investor, reportedly the youngest investor in the company. That's a powerful combo, visibility plus equity. She's also shown interest in tech and wellness plays that line up with her values, including mental health and women's empowerment. This is the new athlete playbook. Don't just endorse, own. Use the spotlight from wins to build a portfolio that can outlast your playing years. For Naomi, it's a smart hedge and a statement. She's turning highlight reels into long-term assets. So where does that leave her story? With trophies in the case, a sponsor roster any star would want, and a business portfolio with her name on the cap table. Next up, let's put it all together and talk legacy, and what future athletes can learn from her moves. So what's Naomi Osaka's secret? She turned big match moments into a brand people trust, then used that trust to build a diverse empire. The result was history-making money. As Forbes put it, she set an earnings record with about $60 million in the 12 months ending May 1, 2021. 4 Grand Slams between 2018 and 2021 lit the fuse, and her values kept the engine running. Here's my read. Being more than an athlete didn't cost her, it paid her. Sponsors backed her activism and her mental health stance, and she answered by becoming a founder and an investor. By reasonable estimates, her career haul has likely crossed the $100 million mark, with most of it earned off the court. That's a playbook future stars will study. If you learned something new, hit subscribe, like, and share. Thanks for watching Kickin' Riches. Which part of Naomi's story did you find most surprising? The Nike pivot, the sponsor support during her break, or the startup moves? I'm curious where you land. We sourced everything from Forbes, AP, and brand releases to keep this tight and true. I'm Mark, and I'll see you in the next deep dive. Thanks for watching.